What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Gene from Gray Matter Games, and I'm back with a Gotham Knights review. This is a review where I took my time playing the game, finished it. It took me literally almost a week since the game came out. I did not play anything else but this game. I wanted to make sure everything was completed before I give you my honest opinion on the game. I'm a small channel. I have nothing to lose, so everything I'm saying is off my dome, off the dome right now. This isn't going to be like edited or anything like that. This is going straight in as it is. I'm fresh in my mind. Let's get right into it. If you like my channel and you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the bell for notification, and subscribe to support this channel, and we can beat this algorithm. And if you are a follower of my channel, thank you for all the support. And look above. I have a Plague Tale Requiem review right above. Check that out. It's a very underrated game. Please make sure you check it out. I'll give you my honest opinion on it. Now, let's get right into this video. Gotham Knight is very polarizing. People like IGN are giving it some crazy reviews. Some people are giving it a very honest review, and some people are just completely praising this game when it doesn't really need to be praised all that much. So right off the rip, I'm going to just take the bandage off. I'm just going to say right now, the game is exactly what I predicted. If you follow me on social media, you know what I was saying leading into the game. It's a 7, a 7.5 at the most. It was never going to reach an 8. It was never going to reach a 9. It was never going to reach a 10. With the whole development and everything and all the hassle that happened to this game, I did not think it was going to reach a high score. But a 7.5 is a good score. Don't let that be, wrong or nothing like that. This is their first game since Arkham Origin in terms of DC product of this magnitude for Warner Bros. Montreal. They're trying to make their own franchise out of this, and I think it was a step in the right direction, okay? So there is a lot of problems, and we're going to get right into that. We're going to go into the negatives. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to talk about before we go into the positives. I do believe the positives outweigh the negatives, depending on how you look at things. Everyone is subject to their own opinion. My job is to not only introduce casual gamers to this game and to any game I talk about in my channel, but my job as well is to shine light in a very honest opinion stuff, because I do believe IGN and many other companies were kind of, I don't know, I want to say rigged, because their review, there's a difference between saying a game's bad and then there's a difference between saying the game's terrible, all because you're kind of comparing it to another franchise. So I don't know, that's just whatever. It's like they want it to fail. Whatever, we're gonna get right into it. Stabilization, I think this thing is terrible. A 30 FPS does not bother me if it's a smooth 30 FPS. Most next-gen games, when you try to play fidelity mode on single-player storylines, it's usually 30 FPS. I'm used to 30 FPS. That's fine. But the thing is, this game, when things start going crazy, when action starts to kick in, when people are online with you, it hits on my monitor as low as 25 FPS, and it's kind of bad. It's pretty choppy. But when it's smooth, it's smooth. So I played on the PS5 and I played on the Series S. I think I had a smoother experience on the Series S, which, mind you now, for all those that say the Series S is holding back the next gen, I don't think so. I think it's depending on the developers, but that's a video for another time. The Series S was very good. At 1440p, 30 FPS with ray tracing, it was great. PS5, 4K 30 with ray tracing, it looked beautiful. Okay. Now, the second con, RPG system. I like RPG systems and I hate RPG systems in any game in general, because there's a chance that you can be really good in introducing something new, but then you start to tamper with difficulties of an AI, and it eventually, ruins the immersion sometimes. And this game is no other than that. That's why Assassin's Creed Origin, Odyssey, hit Valhalla, and all that. I'm not a fan of the RPG mechanics in those Assassin's Creed, because it feels like it ruins the immersion for me. Here is nothing different. I think when the AI is stupid, it feels like it's easing you into the game. Then you level up, and the AI level up, and it starts to become very competitive, and that's cool. But then it gets to the point where you're starting to get one-shotted or two-shotted by a bunch of goons. I don't like that. Okay, if I put a bullet in your face like Red Hood, I don't care if it's rubber bullet or not. If I put a bullet in your face, aim down sight and everything, I'm sorry, you're not getting up from that. But hey, whatever. Moving on. Dialogues are pretty corny. Wish they were better. I mean, we saw that coming in as soon as we saw the IGN 15 minutes into the game. We kind of knew how it was going to play out. The voice acting is, and the reason why I put voice acting under con, 90% of the voice acting was solid. That 10% is, I did not like. This game will avoid spoilers. I just want to let y'all know right now. I won't be going into the actual game and what happens, but Batman's voice, terrible. I love the Batman's design in this game, but Batman's voice, terrible. Probably the worst Batman voice I've heard. I'd rather hear George Clooney voice Batman in this game than whoever voiced Batman here. And I'm sorry, I cannot. And I don't want to roast the person, whoever it is, but it was terrible. Okay, why couldn't we get the Arkham Origin Batman? I don't know, but whatever. That one, this one, I hope he never voices Batman again. Okay. Third negative, kind of wish there was more villains, more villain rosters. The ones we got were pretty solid, but I do feel like there was a little bit missing in there. Number 4, I felt like the overall story involving the Court of Owls, it starts off strong, it goes strong all the way towards the, climactic portion of the game, and it's almost like the developer didn't know how to wrap up the story, so it does fall flat, and you'll know what I mean if you've played the game, and if you have not, you'll see once you check it out, it does feel like it falls flat, but that's, I don't know, right? I don't know. I think they were just juggling too much in terms of story. Let's see. This game is giving me a Marvel's Avengers vibe. That's a negative because it feels like that was what this game was originally intended to be. This game's been in development for 5.5 years, so it does seem like that's the route they were going for, but they had to shift it. They had to pivot it to what it ended up being. I still think it's far better than Marvel's Avengers. Long shot, okay? But, it's just knowing that loot boxes were like a thing in this game. It kind of just, it irks me. Red Hood is a pro and con. We're going to go into pros in just a second, but the con is, if you're a Red Hood fanatic, this is not your interpretation of Red Hood. That's all I'm going to say. But shifting your attention into positives, and again, there's plenty of negatives, but I'm hammering home the most important parts of negatives. Shifting into the positives, back to Red Hood. This interpretation of Red Hood is pretty cool. The voice acting was very solid. The story that they give you for the character and how they twist the whole, resurrection of the character, it's pretty solid. And his connection to Batman is very felt. You can feel it. It feels kind of like a father that lost a son, so it really does feel, you can feel Red Hood a little bit and how he speaks. His mystical leap looks ridiculous even when you play it, but it's fun. His combat is a lot better than it actually was shown in the trailers. These trailers did not show Red Hood any justice, so personal experience, I really do think he's one of the most funnest characters out there. He is slow, but again, they built him as a brute. But overall, his takedowns are freaking epic. His interrogations are amazing. Going in, the strongest thing are the knights, all of them. All 4 knights are epic. Their acting is good. Their combat is good. Their personality is great. How they interact with Alfred and everybody in the story is very solid. And the things you earn while you level up their tree is really good as well. They're literally they carry this. Arkham Knight, the knights carry the game. Their traversal is very fun with the exception of Robin. I think it just ruins the flow. But everything else is amazing. It's spot on. Barbara's practically Batman. Nightwing, honestly, Nightwing low-key, with the exception of some of the new stuff they added into the RPG stuff, Nightwing plays like Nightwing in the Arkham games, okay? And I'm being just honest here. Red Hood is very unique. That's all I can describe it. You need his guns to set up his punches. You need his punches to set up his guns if you want to make some really cool and powerful moves, which is awesome. His mystical abilities are kind of explained here. Wish they can go into more depth, but if you have the comics, then hey, read the comics and you'll find out. The story, like I said, it's a positive and a negative. The story starts off very strong. I mean, it's not a terrible story. It just falls short when you're comparing it to Warner Bros. Montreal's Arkham Origin story. That's the only time I'm ever going to compare it to Arkham because that's the only game they ever made. So it does fall short in that perspective. The villains that we do have, although little, it is actually very well fleshed out. I do like that, I do like their missions. I like their boss fights, with the exception of Mr. Freeze and Clayface, where I do like their boss fights, but they were designed to be played cooperative, not singled. So that's a pro and a con. I think the RPG, again, it's way better than Marvel's Avengers. I think it's better than Assassin's Creed, but that's up to, someone's interpretation. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think the multiplayer system in terms of the server is very smooth. I think it's a very smooth server. And to be quite honest, I didn't really have a problem outside of frames dropping in terms of lagging, being kicked out and stuff like that. I didn't have a problem with that. The developers, again, they're looking to patch the game already this week, so I do like that customer support. I do think that's a good step. Again, back to the Series S, it looks fabulous on the Series X. It definitely showcases that Series S is not an old gen console; it is a true next gen console. So thought that was a cool thing. Gotham, this is probably the best looking Gotham from an artistic standpoint. And I know people are gonna say, well, Arkham has the better Gotham and stuff, but listen. Listen, you may be telling the truth. It may be the better Gotham, okay? But at the end of the day, there's a difference between graphics and there's a difference between artistic design. I think the artistic design for Gotham Knights looks superior to Arkham Knight, okay? Why? Because it feels like what the developers were trying to do was trying to get us, the fans of DC, into the comic book world. Whereas the Arkhamverse, we have comic book characters, comic book lore, comic book buildings, but when you get into Arkham Knight and you free roam, it feels like a realistic city, That's just me. That's just my opinion. That's my take. They went for like a more realistic design. Kind of like Marvel's Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Spider-Man's a comic book character. Mary Jane's a comic book character. The Sinister Six is a comic book character. And all these characters are comic book related, but New York doesn't look cartoony. New York has a very realistic artistic design towards it. Gotham Knights aimed for comic book design, and that's what I truly appreciate. There's areas in Gotham, and this is a large Gotham. There's areas where, a middle of Gotham feels like downtown. It feels modern day, kind of feels like the modern depiction of Gotham. Then you go into like the poor area, and it feels like the Court of Owls, New 52 kind of design of Gotham. There's moments that it does, for me, the fog and everything, like the fog that they have going around and the weather changing, it does feel like a little bit of love towards like the golden age Gothic artistic design of like the churches and stuff like that with all the fog and everything. It just sets that mood of like, oh crap, it's Gotham. I don't want to be walking around here in the middle of the night type of situation. So that I really love Gotham here. Now, a lot of people, and you're going to see this, a lot of people are going to say, there's not enough things to do. The combat is very repetitive. Okay, listen, I'm going to shine a light towards you for 1 second, okay? And again, this is coming from an Arkham fanatic. When you beat Arkham, when you play the story of Arkham, you get introduced to thugs, brutes, armored people, guns, sometimes League of Assassin characters, and occasionally some characters that are just there in certain section of the story. But once you beat the overall story, what is there left to do? And we're talking vanilla. We're not talking DLCs. We're talking the vanilla games every single time we get them at launch. There's nothing left to do. Free roam around Gotham, beat the crap out of thugs for no apparent reason, and that's it. Even the variety of thugs aren't there in free roam. You just see regular thugs. Occasionally some ones with guns, but you stop seeing the ninjas. You stop seeing super powered people. You stop seeing a bunch of stuff that were unique to the story. It's just regular thugs. Occasionally, there's a car chase in Arkham Knight, but once you beat the story, what do you got? Firefighters. Again, and I'm not counting. I'm not gonna mention bosses like Professor Pig, missions like that, because we're gonna compare that to the whole Harley, Clayface, Mr. Freeze scenario in Gotham Knights. We're just strictly talking. When you're free roaming, what is there to do? There's nothing to do. All the best missions are in the story. Once you free roam, you got nothing else to do. And Marvel's Spider-Man, it's kind of the same thing, but here's the catch. At least Marvel Spider-Man, we got crime in progress. We have a variety of crime in progress. And Miles Morales, they did it even better by having a vast variety of different kinds of crimes. Gotham Knights took the Spider-Man route. We have car chases. People trying to steal cars, people trying to shoot, mug, or assault civilians. We got corrupted cops. We got crime scenes you got to investigate. We got bank robbings. We got assaults of some sort of. Basically they barricade a vehicle because their friend is inside the vehicle, so they're trying to break them out. So they got those kind of stuff. They have variety of different kinds of events, and again, the story is the Court of Owls. There is plenty of crime in progress type missions that involve, I don't want to spoil it, that involve secret passages laying around Gotham that involve the Court of Owls. And there's plenty of VR stuff to do as well by Lucius. The Riddler technically is not really here. There is a Riddler type of event here, which, again, that's basically Batman. Batman is the Riddler low-key here. And what I mean is, Batman's not in the fucking game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he's it's like it was advertised. Like Batman's not here. But the thing is, there's a lot of videotapes of, like, video recordings of Batman saying, like, oh, you found this training thing. Finish this trial and you'll get a reward type of thing. And he's spread all over Gotham, so it's kind of like the Riddler. So he's just there. And there's plenty of world building, and the thing that's unique, unlike the Arkhams, is that when you complete things like the Mr. Freeze situation, the Harley situation, the Clayface situations, those specific special goons that are for those factions, they remain. They remain. It's not that they disappear; they stay in the game. So at least there is a variety. And by variety, we got goons with melee weapons, goons that like to give you the hands, goons with guns, brutes, special weaponed characters. Occasionally we got like people with drones and stuff, ninjas, talons, corrupted police, which for whatever reason they fight back very well, soldiers sometimes. And, and people say that there's not a variety. There's a variety. There's an actual variety of the game. It's just, I think the problem is, and I don't want to roast these people. I really do think, like, it is their fault, but it's not their fault. I think the problem is no matter how much you told them that this is not an Arkham game, they went in there with mega expectations thinking it's an Arkham game. And if you are someone going into this thinking it's an Arkham game, you're going to be disappointed because it's not Arkham. It's entirely a whole new identity, and I think they did a good job doing that. I really do. I look forward to post-launch DLC story expansions or whatever they do, and potentially a Gotham Knights too. I really do have faith in this universe. As long as they can pump out really good content and don't go dry on us, we'll be fine. I really don't want to spoil anything, so I don't want to talk about the side missions that are there with specific characters. But everything about the game, in my honest opinion, it's a solid game. It's a game that, yes, I would have liked it to been pushed back a couple more months so we could have stabilized something. That's the honest part. Okay, that's being real honest here. 30 FPS, I would have loved 60, but 30, I'll take it. Plus, they said 30 at launch. There's a small chance, and by small, there's a realistic chance they could add a 60 FPS mode later down the line. You know, there's a lot of games that start off like that. Like Guardians of the Galaxy on the Series S was a 30 FPS thing, and eventually they added something else later. Cyberpunk 2077 just added 60 FPS to the Series S. Like, we've had plenty of games where it just starts off at 30, and then they update it to have a performance mode later. So don't worry about that. Just listen, go in there with low expectations. Go in there like you've never played an Arkham game. Go in there like this is your first DC game. And just experience this universe for what it is. It's a very beautiful universe. I really do mean it. It has a lot of problems, but it has an amazing amount of potential. The combat, the only thing that reminisces of Arkham is that there is kind of a flow system where you go from one enemy to the other enemy, and it does kind of travel, and like it does connect. There is a smoothness to it, but it's not zipping and zooming the way Batman does in the Arkham verses, which I'm okay with it because I thought that was also, as much as that was fun, I thought that was unrealistic. Here, there's like a nerf, like you're kind of nerfed here, where the enemies have a chance to really hit you, and that's fine. I like that. Everyone's different, but there is an RPG system, and the RPG system very much carries this game. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you've upgraded. You have to know what suit has what stats, what bow staff has what stats compared to previous bow staffs, stuff like that. The Tran Mogs, they're like they're like upgrades that you can put into weapons and suits and stuff. I don't really know how that works. I haven't really figured it out. I beat the game without it, so I'm not gonna give you an honest opinion on that. I don't think we needed it, to be honest. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't think it's a game-changing thing. That should already tell you what it is. But the suits are amazing. The suits are 10 out of 10. Even the most trash suits look really good. But if you got that digital deluxe version, the Batman Beyond inspired ones, and the Jim Lee Night Watch suits are amazing. Batgirl has one of the best suits. There are a lot of them basically resemble Batman. Nightwing has a lot of pretty good suits as well. Robin, I wish kind of had better suits, but Red Hood has some solid suits. The only nitpick I wish was that I wish we could have replaced a couple of these suits with like current comic iterations of Red Hood, like the Rebirth version of him. But hey, whatever. Hopefully we get it post-launch, some free DLC, right? Overall, it's a good game with a lot to do. Like I said, don't listen to what IGN says. I feel like there's something fishy there. There's certain people that are a little fishy, and then there's certain people that really praise this game a lot, and they won't tell you all the flaws that are in it. Okay, I'm telling you that the game is a 7. After beating the game, it's a 7.5, pushing it. Now, I'm talking as a game. As a game, it's a 7 to 7.5. As a DC fan, someone who loves DC, I give it an 8 because I love DC. I just love being able to play Gotham, and I haven't been able to get my hands in a Gothic city since, Arkham Knight. It's been a long time. But as a video game, me criticizing the game as a game, it's a 7 to 7.5. That's not bad. Guardians of the Galaxy was a 7. Let that sink in. It's not bad. It's better than Marvel's. If you want to wait for a sale, wait for a sale. Wait till the game gets patched and buy it, But is it worth your money? If you're a fan of DC, yes, it is. If you are a fan of games and you're an open-minded person, you're not locked behind a specific franchise, go check it out. You're going to have a great time. Just keep in mind every negative thing I've said. Okay? Overall, I believe it's a solid experience. 7 to 7.5 out of 10. That's what I give it. That's my honest review. It's a great time. It's worth your money. Go check it out, okay? And again, the biggest reviewer of all time is you, yourself. You go check it out. That's it. That's it. My only real big negative Nancy is I kind of wish the game would have been pushed a little bit back. But what I think what happened is this game's been in development for so long, and there were so many canceled games prior to this, and you do have a deadline, and you got publishers you have to meet their requirements and stuff. They had to drop the game. I would say the game is like 80% done, 90% done. Like the game is finished from head to toe. I'm talking like the percentage that's missing is like polishing and stabilizing stuff, like patches and stuff. That's what that's missing. But overall, I think it's an amazing game for what it is, okay? And it has a bright future with great acting, with the exception of Batman. Great acting. So, and you get to feel the characters. You really do feel their pain, their sorrow. The Batman's gone. You get to really feel that. Okay, the weakest link, in my opinion, was Tim in terms of like his acting, only because to Nightwing it feels like a father, like he lost another father because it's Batman and Nightwing's the first Robin. Jason is the second Robin, and he died, came back, and now Batman's dead. Like, he feels like he lost something. Batgirl's dealing with the fact that not only did she lose her mentor as Batman, but she's living in a Jim Gordon-less life. So, like, the two biggest icons in her life are gone. So she's missing that. Tim in this universe, he seems like he's fresh. He seems like he just met Batman like a year ago type of thing. So he's the weakest link because he whines a lot. He really does whine a lot. I'd understand if they said that Tim's origin is a sad origin and Batman's like a father figure. I'd get that. But as far as I'm concerned, correct me in the comments, I don't think there's an origin established in this universe for Tim outside of he found out Bruce's identity and Bruce took him in type of situation. But I don't know, he just feels like this story doesn't revolve around him. Like, he kind of doesn't need to be here. But that's going to be all for today, in my honest opinion. Go check it out. Remember, link below for the article on the fact that Gotham Knights will be having an update pretty soon on the consoles. All right? Until next time, it's your boy, Gene from Grey Matter Games. I hope you all enjoy this review. Peace.